Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back on another interesting topic in Vedic astrology today. And today we will be talking about the four padas or four divisions of Hasta Nakshatra. So, in our earlier sessions, we have discussed Hasta Nakshatra in detail. As you know, that there are 27 nakshatras, each spanning a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes. And if you multiply 13 degrees and 20 minutes times 27, it comes to 360 degrees. So all the 27 nakshatras are actually in the entire zodiac sign, and then planets are placed in it. And as a generic rule, we take moon into consideration as far as the placement of moon is concerned, what nakshatra moon is placed in, and that's what, in a generic term, we say that, well, you're born in this nakshatra. It's actually the moon which is placed in that nakshatra, which we, in a general way say, you're born in this nakshatra. So we've gone into details in our earlier video, like I said, about Hasta Nakshatra. It spans a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes, starting from 10 degrees of Virgo through 23 degrees and 20 minutes of Virgo. So that distance is right inside or falls within the zodiac sign of Virgo. And as we all know, that Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. And then we've already discussed that the ruling planet of this nakshatra is the planet Moon. So the distinctive feature here is that Moon is placed in this nakshatra, and the ruling planet itself is Moon as well. So that makes Moon very, very strong, a very, very important entity, so as to say, as far as analyzing a birth chart is concerned for people with Hasta Nakshatra, or where Moon is placed in the Hasta Nakshatra. Because, like I said, Moon is placed in the nakshatra as well as the ruler of this nakshatra is Moon. That is not the case in other nakshatras. So Moon becomes very strong, and we've discussed the positive traits, the negative traits, the career interests. So people who've not seen my video on Hasta Nakshatra, all about Hasta Nakshatra, please refer to that first before you come to this, because today we'll be talking about a finer detail, or going more into detail about Hasta Nakshatra, because as we all know that the nakshatra, which spans over a distance of 13 degrees and 20 minutes, is further subdivided into equal parts, four equal parts, okay, which are called padas. And each equal part, or pada, spans a distance of 3 degrees and 20 minutes. So if you multiply 4 times 3 degrees and 20 minutes, it comes to 13 degrees and 20 minutes. Okay, so this is how the nakshatra is divided. Now the nakshatra falls in a particular navansha, as we know that one navansha is also 3 degrees and 20 minutes. So the navansha has to be taken into consideration in terms of its rulerships. Okay, so these four navanshas, or four padas, which fall within the Hasta Nakshatra, are also ruled by four different planets. So we'll take those traits also into consideration. We'll take those planets also into consideration in determining the effects of people who are born in this nakshatra. So the first pada, or the first navansha, falls into the Aries navansha. Okay, and the rulership of Aries, as we know, is Mars. So how do we kind of analyze this first people born in Hasta Nakshatra in the first pada, okay, which falls in the Aries navansha? So since we know that Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, then obviously we also know that Mars is a very ambitious, aggressive planet. So those characteristics are going to be felt by people who are born in the Hasta Nakshatra in the first pada. Okay, so there'll be an immense amount of energy for people who are born in this particular pada. And but then be very careful, since it's ruled by Mercury. Do not think that a person will go into professions which is ruled by Mercury, like being a surgeon or being a policeman or a military. You have to take into consideration the overall rulership of the nakshatra, which is, of course, as we know, it is moon. We have to take into consideration the presiding deity of the nakshatra, which we know is the sun god. So there's an influence already of the sun god, or Savitur, actually, to be more precise. The presiding deity is Savitur, which is, of course, synonymous with the sun god. So there is an influence, a very strong influence of moon and sun already. And the third influence, of course, is since it's placed in the Rashi, this nakshatra is placed in the Rashi or the zodiac sign of Mercury, it is influenced, the zodiac sign of Virgo, it is influenced by Mercury. Okay, so there are three planets already which are influencing people born in Hasta Nakshatra, which is the moon, which is the sun, and also which is Mercury, because it falls within Virgo zodiac sign. And then this particular Navansha or Pada is ruled by the planet Mercury. I'm sorry, the planet Mars, because the Navansha is ruled by Mars because it is falling in Aries. Okay, so don't jump to a conclusion that since this Pada falls in the nakshatra of Aries and it's ruled by Mars, people will be joining the military. No, people will still have the same career interests as what we have discussed in detail about people born in Hasta Nakshatra, which are influenced by, who are positive, humorous people, like to do social work, can become good social workers, can read palms, can become good palmists, can become good astrologers, can go into the travel industry because it's again ruled by moon, great communications because of the influence of the planet Mercury. But this time, since they are falling in the Navansha of Aries, or the Pada, which is ruled by the Navansha of Aries, which falls rather in the Navansha of Aries and ruled by Mars, they'll be a little more aggressive in whatever profession they do. They'll be a little more aggressive in how they deal with their day-to-day lives. They'll be more energetic as far as their work and their approach towards work is concerned, or dealing with people are concerned, or the way their temperament is as far as conducting their day-to-day lives within the scope of the professions and work and relationships which we've already discussed. Okay, so this was the effect of people who are born in the first para of Hasta Nakshatra. Okay, now the second para of Hasta Nakshatra falls in the zodiac sign which comes after Aries, because the first para is falling in the Navamsha of Aries, then the second pada is going to be falling in the Navamsha of Taurus. And we know that the rulership of Taurus is Venus. Okay, and we've already discussed the professions which are related to Hasta Nakshatra people, that they can, along with the great skills which we have discussed in details, they can also become great people, or become very successful rather, in the travel industry. Okay, which is directly related to the planet Venus. So here you'll see a lot of people in the travel industry who are already, we've identified people in Hasta Nakshatra, which has the influence of sun and moon and also Mercury, uh, and they are, good as far as doing work in the travel industry is concerned. You'll see more people falling in this category who are actually where the moon is placed in the second pada of the Hasta Nakshatra, which is falling in the Navamsha of Taurus, and as a result of which it is ruled by the planet Venus. So you'll see more interest rather, because moon is about the interest, the mind, and if moon is placed there in the second pada, which is the Navamsha of Taurus ruled by Venus, you'll see more interest towards that area of life, and they will excel in that area, of course, with the added qualities of great communication skills and doing good and trying to be more fair and trying to be helpful, so they can excel in this area of travel and also in other areas which may be related to the Venus uh, influence, along with the influence of Mercury, Sun, and Moon. So I'll caution here: do not jump to a conclusion that people who are born in the second part of Hasta Nakshatra will become, great musicians because Venus is concerned with music. They'll become great film stars or, great theater people. No, because of course, the influence of Mercury is there as far as communication is concerned, but the overall effect of Hasta Nakshatra, which is the effect of Moon primarily, and then the Sun, and then the influence of the Hasta, the hand, of doing good for people, being good people as far as doing social work is concerned, and helping people is concerned. That influencing factor will overrule over the, I would not say overrule, will be the umbrella under which they will work, but they will work with a little more sensitivity towards Venus-like qualities. Okay, will be more Venus-like because of the influence of the planet Venus. So like I said, we've discussed that they are good people, or they'll be successful in travel industry. That's one area. And the other areas also could be in terms of, since they'll be interested in working towards some painters as well, because we've discussed the career interest of Hasta Nakshatra, because it's the hand which rules painting. Okay, so they are painters. So you'll also find good painters whose moon is placed in the second para of the Hasta Nakshatra. So try to relate it to the overall influence of the nakshatra, and then go further detail into the pada and the influencing factor, which is the rulership of the Navansha, where the pada falls under. Okay, so like I said, great in travel industry and even painters. So you'll find good painters here for people born in the Hasta Nakshatra second pada. The third pada falls under the Navansha of Gemini, because after Aries it's Taurus, and after Taurus it's Gemini. And then Gemini, as we know, is ruled by the planet Mercury. So here you'll find people with great communication skills. Okay, and they'll be able to convince people, and they can be good writers. They could be good salespeople as well. Okay, so going in the overall influencing factor of the Hasta Nakshatra, which is the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury, here the influence of Mercury will be much more. So you'll find people who are born in the third pada of Hasta Nakshatra being great writers, or great in sales and good in communications. They can become good scholars as well, because it's about intelligence, and sometimes professors, math professors, accounting professors, because that's an influence of Mercury there as far as math and accounting is concerned. And the fourth pada, as we know, falls under Cancer, because it's Aries and then Taurus and then Gemini, and then finally it's the fourth pada will fall in the Navamsha of Cancer. So the ruler of Cancer, as we know, is Moon. So here Moon becomes very strong. Here we see that Moon is placed in the nakshatra, because we always discuss the placement of Moon in the nakshatra. Here we see the ruling planet of this nakshatra is Moon itself. Okay, so that's another influencing factor. And here the third effect of Moon is clearly felt here, because if Moon is placed in the fourth para of Hasta Nakshatra, again, first it is the rulership of the nakshatra is Moon. Second, Moon itself is placed in the nakshatra in the fourth pada, and the fourth pada is actually falling in the Navansha of Cancer, which is again ruled by Moon. So it's three times Moon times three. Okay, so very strong Moon influence here. And Moon is what? Moon is about helping people. Moon is about imagination. Moon is about the mind. So you'll see very positive people who are born in the Hasta Nakshatra in the fourth pada Okay, they'll like to do good, they'll do look good for the society. They can become known people in the society as well, because moon is about being known in society circles. They'll follow the rules of the society. They can become um, good social workers, as to say. They can also become poets sometimes, because of the influence of moon here so strongly, with exceptional communication skills. So they'll be able to communicate that to their audience pretty well. And they can also become good advisors, because moon is the queen, sun is the king, and the moon is the queen, who's an advisor. Moon falls under the category of advisors. So ministers, advisors, people who can also do well as far as in bureaucracy is concerned, because sun is about again power, and moon is about being in bureaucracy and become ministers, and even become good diplomats and good bureaucrats, as far as their professions are concerned. And they'll be very emotional people, they'll be caring people, they'll like to help people, they like to have positive energy around them, because moon is a sattvic planet. It doesn't like any kind of a nonsense, of all these qualities, the shadaripu, which we call it, the six weaknesses which we have. Moon is one planet who does not consider anybody as its enemy, okay, except Rahu and Ketu, of course, as has been described in the Vedic scriptures. So very, very positive people, and very successful people as far as society, or even in the government is concerned. So hopefully you enjoyed this video on 4 padas of Hasta Nakshatra. And in the meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel and check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic on Vedic astrology in my next session very soon. Goodbye.